What the f-
Get to work!
Wipe out!
My goat, what the f, dude? In your opinion, who is the best electro DPS in the game? Are you guys gonna be mad at me if I say right on Hyperbloom? That's a Dendro DPS? Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Hyperbloom is actually Dendro damage. That's a good point. You're right. I mean, it's obviously Chlorine. Chlorine is like the only Electro character that doesn't feel like complete ass to play without Fischl or Dendro. What separates Chlorine from someone like Raiden and Kutsang? Her numbers are just a little better. And I saw someone in chat earlier say that the best Electro DPS is Chaska. And I actually don't know if I'd consider Chaska to be better than Chlorine. Like, Chaska's best teams are better than Chlorine's best teams, in my opinion. But Chlorine allows you to use a much larger roster of supporting units that often won't be necessary for your second side.
Everybody stand! Show no mercy!
Which is Chaska's like biggest weakness, is that Chaska is a unit that is strong, but that is weaker than the other carries that want Bennett. And you don't have two Bennetts. So unless you actively avoid going for the other carries that want Bennett, Chaska will never be your best carry for Abyss. On either side. Objection, for me, Chlorine and Raiden feel the same in terms of damage. My Chlorine is... Okay. The main thing that Chlorine has, or that Raiden has over Chlorine, is the ability to front load her damage, which means that if your builds are really, really, really fucking good, you'll get similar clear times on both. But they're similar at that really high investment, and Chlorine is much better before that. How much ER should you get on Citlali to be comfortable? I remember you said 140 isn't quite enough, but like what is enough without swapping timepieces? So it's gonna depend a lot on your team. The biggest reason for that is Cinder City, right? Cinder City is broken for energy, and that means that the amount of Natlan characters you have, and therefore your Night Soul Burst cooldown, is going to significantly impact your ER requirements. On top of that, Shilonen has a passive. Oh, I didn't know she was an Instructor right now. Cool. Shilonen has a passive that triggers an additional Night Soul Burst when she uses her E. When she fills up the bar. Right? So that's 6 more energy. If Citlali is the only Natlan character in your party, you'll get 6 energy refund per rotation from scrolls. If you have Citlali plus Shilonen plus Mawika, you'll get 3 of them per rotation instead. Which is a significant difference. But let's give you some numbers. We already have a fucking ER sheet that we did for gumming, so we can use that. So, best case, Mawika. Right? So this would be Mawika, Bennett, Shilonen, and Citlali. So Citlali catches her own particles, and it's, what, 5? Is it 5 or 4? I forgot. New characters always generate 5 or 4 particles on their skill, man. 5, yeah, okay. Then different element, you'll get the 5 from Mawika. He's not catching them. The 2.25 from Bennett. And then the 4 from Shilonen. I guess you don't catch them either. Like, you could, technically. But, yeah, no. Okay, and then clear particles. She doesn't catch any. You get Mawika plus... Okay, and then 6 times 3. ER requirements will be at around 150 in a team like this. You could also get 2 Bennett E's in a rotation like this, which would bring them down to around 144, right? And then we can look at worst case Arlecchino. This stays the same. Different element. Arlecchino, you'll still get 5. So let's say you only get 1 Bennett E. And you're using Sucrose. Is it 4 or 3 on Sucrose? I forgot. I don't think it's on HomDG but it's going to be on the KQM TCL. Dude, old characters don't have their information on HomDG and new characters don't have their information on the TCL. But if you use both, you have the information for all the characters. Feels good, man. It's 4, yeah. But yeah. And in that worst case scenario, your ER requirements are at around 220, right? So somewhere between 140 and 220. It's a very wide range, which is why it's hard to give a proper answer, right? It's going to depend a lot on the team you use her on. But realistically, in this team, if you have Sac Sucrose, you could do a double E and feed one of the E particles into her. Which would make your ER requirements closer to 190. And then, well, let's be honest, these teams are fucking broken as shit. So my default assumption for enemy HP particles might be a little on the low side. You might get a little bit more than that. Like, for me in practice, this is more or less what I need. In the worst case scenarios. And it's pretty much exactly what I have. And I notice very often that I swap into Citlali and I don't have her burst yet, but the particles I catch from that Sucrose or whatever give me the burst. So, like, yeah. If you want to be comfortable on, like, high investment clears in a lot of different teams, 185-ish is going to be what you're aiming for. If you want to be comfortable in general gameplay, you might want more than that. Yeah, and then if you're not on Cinder City, it's even higher. Obviously, this one would also go fucking crazy high. Cinder City gives you the equivalent of like 60 ER in the Shilonen teams. It's fucking insane. Is Kirara really enough Dendro in an aggravate teams? In an aggravate team? It depends. The it depends is back, chat, Pog. So she has a constellation. A C4, I think? Yeah. That gives her off-field Dendro. Slow off-field Dendro, but slow off-field enough is enough in Quicken. If you don't have that constellation, however, your Quicken duration is just going to be the default Quicken duration, which is, what is it, 9 seconds? Some shit like that? 9.5? Which is going to be enough in teams where you can swap out, or in teams that have short uptime, but won't be enough in stuff like Sino teams. I thought you have every character at 90. No, not every character. I mean, fuck, dude. Even with the amount of characters I have at 90, I'm still fucking zero Mora. Instructor with 200 ER is easy to attain. Just 12% ER per piece plus 5-star ER sets. I'm asking this because I'm like genuinely not sure. That's a joke, right? Why? 12 ER on an instructor piece? If what you said was like actually serious and not a joke, 12 ER on an instructor piece is a lot harder to get than you think. It's not like 12 ER on a 5-star piece, right? Like 12 ER on 4 stars on 4-star artifacts is not a little bit over 2 rolls. It's a solid 3 rolls. First. And second, 4-star artifacts have a total of 2 less total rolls. Right? 5-star artifacts getting multiple rolls of a specific stat is doable because you're starting with 3 to 4, which means you have 4 to 5 opportunities to roll into something. So getting a total of 2 additional rolls into it is reasonable, right? It's something you can expect on a few of them, right? But 4-star artifacts start with 2 to 3 instead of 3 to 4, and can only level to plus 16. Which means you only have 2 to 3 options, or 2 to 3 opportunities to roll into ER. And you need 2 of them. On all of your pieces. With the M main stats. That's hard. I've been collecting Instructor and leveling pretty much all of my promising Instructor pieces. And let's take a look at what someone who's been doing this for 4 years has on Instructor. If we sort by ER. Alright, I have 1 piece with over 15% ER, not the right main stat, obviously. And that is literally it. In 4 years of leveling Instructor pieces that were promising, I have literally 1 with above 10%. Yeah. Like 12% ER on all of your pieces is not an easy thing on Instructor. It's like getting 50 CD? No, it's not like getting 50 CD. At the end of the day, you also have to keep in mind, I get less Instructor artifacts than I get 5-star artifacts. Right? If you level every single Instructor artifact that has ER, you're gonna find some of them. But it's like, you can't directly farm Instructor. I don't know, but I only started collecting Instructor like 2 patches ago and I was able to get 200 ER easily. You got incredibly lucky. But like, that's kind of like walking up to a homeless guy after winning the lottery and being like, dude, how like, what the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean struggling? Just buy a fucking lottery ticket. That's what I did. And it worked. But like, you got lucky, man. Like even then, 200 ER without scrolling Citlali isn't enough in some cases. Yeah, there's also a lot of cases where it's just not enough. But yeah, so basically, yeah. Yeah. I take a look at my enormous penis, and my troubles start melting away. I take a look at my enormous penis, and the happy times are coming to stay. I gotta sing and I dance when I glance in my pants, and the feeling's like a sunshiny day. I take a look at my enormous penis, and everything is going my way.